some like,
Four down.
like, you know, not
Yep,
past
cool,
this point.
perfect.
Adam's not ready to do that.
Put it in the news and it's coming up.
So I am guessing,
Yeah.
the thing that I want to talk about is going to be new business. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we gotta do that.
And
They can just like go and find it.
Yes, yeah.
You're out and about. It's so good to see you. You're like a real
I don't
person.
know, the childcare came. They didn't, somebody
Thank you.
confirmed.
Yep.
Okay.
You wanna,
Okay, so,
we can talk about it tomorrow, but you wanna send me the names and stuff? And
Sure.
Make sure we know.
so just
Sienna, have you heard from
running
the
to and
childcare
bear
dog?
back for your afternoon ride.
Mhm.
We'll be
Have you
back
heard
here
from
by
childcare
5 o'clock.
I haven't. I like,
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll be back.
I didn't hear that they weren't coming.
Okay, yeah,
I
the
sent them
event
like,
is gonna be
yeah.
rolling at that point. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
hold
How long does the event go?
4 to 6.
Okay, cool, perfect. We'll be here in time for that.
if not,
Yeah.
they'll just have to
Yeah.
hang out with
We'll see if
us.
there's
And the
snacks up there.
nutrition center obviously is gonna.
Let me see.
Okay, okay.
I got,
Do they normally come up here or should I go check the one?
they usually come up here. I was like, oh, eventually, for some reason, my computer doesn't.
The item green.
Okay. Okay. Okay, just not let me know.
So come sit here.
And there's no second room going, right?
Not right now.
Okay, got it. All right.
Not right now, not that I see. I don't think anybody's over there.
No, I think they're just.
Okay.
Someone had the PTO.
I can't, for some reason, my computer is frozen and doesn't let me
I'll check.
check.
I know, and then I saw that.
I didn't get any notification that they weren't coming. I usually send them.
That's like what we said. Well, actually, for my last year.
Okay, we'll start in like 2 minutes. Let me just see.
Oh, I know. Well, they're eating. Here, I'll show you where the garbage is. Can you take it from your mom? Here, send it to me. Yeah.
There's no one down there?
Oh, I didn't go down there.
Oh,
You said
okay.
they normally come up here.
They
Sorry.
normally do come up here. It's usually Kai and,
I know what Kai looks like, but I don't know the other person that is.
Ivania.
I can go down there and look.
I got it, Robin.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't look like Kai's coming.
Need to make arrangements for a credit card for this week. Remember last year?
Okay.
I tried to use it. So, let's connect before we
In
go.
the computer lab
The kids?
or reading lab.
Probably
Yeah.
Thursday.
Computer lab is also possible.
Okay.
Orders due Friday. I really don't want to be submitting on the last day.
Francis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thursday, I'm working
I
on
don't
Thursday,
see
so
it.
that's good.
Yeah.
For me to go.
All right, let's get started. I don't know where the child care people are.
Miss Kennedy went to get it.
Yeah, so if not, the children can like read in the back, so we can keep an eye. There's like, I mean, it is the library, right? So, we could do that. So let's just, everyone got an agenda, the agendas are back there, and sign-in sheets, there's arepas made by, a parent from the school that, they're yummy, yeah, tasty. Okay, so I do have, so we can go around and do introductions real quick. I came up with a question, with no agenda, I'm lying. The question is, let's see. Using one word or phrase, how would you describe the purpose of the PTO? So that's the question, using one word or phrase. Yeah, there's totally an agenda. It's okay. So my name is Sana. I'm the PTO president this year, and I think one word, I was gonna say use a gardening analogy, and then my spouse couldn't come up with one, so I was like, never mind. So let's just do word or phrase. To describe the PTO, I would say support. You can't repeat. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, so do you want to go next just to?
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
My name is Andreina, and I'm usually here for, to assist with any Spanish language access needs, to interpret, and actually to do notes in Spanish too for future communication with Spanish speaking candidates. And if I have to come with a word that's a hard one, I would say collaboration.
Collaboration. Okay, thank you. Shauna.
All right, I'm Shauna Cox, and I don't remember what else we're supposed to say, but I'll give you funding as my word.
Funding, okay. And Shauna does the plant sale.
Do we have any more envelopes?
I don't know, I did
There's
have
a couple
people,
things coming.
I had people, oh, okay, so people emailed me and I said, come bring the envelopes here.
Okay, I'll stop.
Diego.
My name is Diego Tavaz. I'm the principal here at Bancroft, and my word was support, but I'll say connection.
Connection.
This is where everyone gets a thesaurus.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Okay,
Christine Kennedy, assistant principal, engagement.
engagement.
That was mine.
That was my own.
I'm Emily Cox, I'm the band teacher here. And if I were to give a word, it would be community.
Community.
Although I feel you should align yourselves and you shouldn't have much of a role in defining it.
Okay. You're eating, how about?
I'm Robin Anderson.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna echo collaboration.
Okay, we'll allow a second. No,
One.
Melissa?
Hi, I'm Melissa Hanson. I say, I lost it, connection.
Connection, we have that one, okay.
Tom Herman. Hi.
Hi.
I think the word I was gonna say supplement, that sounds kind of passive, so I was gonna say enhance.
Enhance.
So it's-
Nice.
Great. The children can go if they want to. If you don't want to, you can pass. Go ahead.
My name is
Okay.
and
The role of the PTO in a word or phrase. Organize, very good. Anyone else want to go with it? You want to go? Go ahead.
my name's Everett, and
The role of the PTO, the parent-teacher organization.
Arts?
Oh, arts. Okay, you know what I thought you said? Arts. I was like, okay, no, go ahead.
We could give it a try.
Yeah. We could do a party fundraiser, yay! No, go ahead.
Peter Caldwell, and I was gonna say community, but instead I will say together.
Together, okay.
I put some eyes like, and I was gonna say engagement, connection, all that.
Okay, good, good.
I'm Liz, I'm mom of two fifth graders. And I'm gonna say something treasury related, so I'm gonna say checkbook.
Funny. Okay. Do you want to go? You don't have to, it's fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say community. I'm at the end, so I'm not aware.
Your name?
I'm Tana.
Community. Did everyone get to go? No. Yes.
Mario Martinez was support.
Support. Good. Yes.
Mike Newton, I will say commitment.
Commitment. Okay. This is where I need the thesaurus that just corrects me. Is it 1 T, 2 T's? 2 T's, right?
No.
No?
One. I think it's
Just,
one.
it's just 1 T?
Just go one.
It's
2 M's.
2 M's, 1 T. Okay, see, this is what, typing it automatically does it for me. Oh, Vipal.
Oh, okay. I'm Vipal with a fourth grader, finally remembered. And facilitation, PTO facilitates.
Okay, folks online, unmute. Not all
I'm
at
Gina
once.
Del Corazon, and I'll say, I know it's already been said, but community.
Okay, community.
Aaliyah Vinnick, I have a fourth grader. I would say enrichment.
Oh, yeah, enrichment. Michelle?
Michelle, I've got a third grader and an incoming kindergartner next year, and I also say support.
Support. Thank you. Okay.
Hello, this is Kate Elwell. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm going to go with what Michelle just said, also support.
Okay, support. Great. You just joined us. You want to just say your name?
My name is Kim Rasmussen.
Okay.
What else am I supposed to say?
At the role of the PTO in one word or phrase.
They're already support.
Okay.
And there's a lot, I agree with a lot of those.
Yes. So the non-agenda thing, reason I asked this question is because we have PTO elections next month. And I want people to think about what we do as a PTO for the school, how we support, collaborate, fund, checkbook, commit, connect, engage, enhance, organize, facilitate, enrich through the arts and other means our community. So I feel like I'm very new to this school. This is, for some reason, I'm here in the PTO and I haven't even been here a whole year. But this school is so unique. It's a very diverse place. And I feel like it's one of the, few institutions where different kinds of people or organizations or different kinds of people get to interact, right? And so I think it's a very special place that we have all sorts of diversity here, and we need volunteers and support to make this happen. Parents, teachers, community members, and so this is my pitch. We do have. I will be sharing the volunteer descriptions. They're here, but we will email them out. And so next month we will be having elections for some of those positions. And we need volunteers to make things happen. We support the school in so many ways. We help fund trips. We help fund different arts things. Who name some things? Because of course I'm saying things. The treasurer knows what we fund. We fund artist residencies. What else would someone say?
Is it events?
Events.
Like community events?
Yes.
The parking lot? And,
community events, yes.
And then beginning of the year, new students thing, don't we do that?
Yeah, we do. We do have the new student, open house stuff, so we do a lot of ways, things to support the community, and to be able to just build community here at the school. So that is my pitch. Next on the agenda is the plant sale. Oh, any questions actually? Any questions about elections or the positions that are posted? And there's more positions this year. I proposed a fundraising and a volunteer coordinator. And those are the two newest ones, fundraising chair, volunteer coordinator. So yeah. Any questions? I will be sending out an email in the next week or so, just to spread the information. And yeah. Okay. Sean.
Well, as a chair of one of the two big fundraising events, I'm kind of excited to see a fundraising chair. I think that's going to be a really positive direction for the PTO. So plant sale, the main deadline was Friday. We got like 100 envelopes, which feels like more than last year. I didn't go back and count, but I'm pretty sure that's more than last year. So that's really exciting. Some of them have coins in them, which is new. And I think next year we really need to put some effort into figuring out how to do electronic payment, because the risk that we're all holding with all that cash just really makes me uncomfortable. But I think it looks like it's gonna be a really great sale. We do need volunteers for delivery. Diego, I'm terribly sorry. We're going to have the plants arrive and we all have to wait before the kids get out. So it'll be just like Friday. Yeah, so deliveries at 2.
On Thursday?
Yeah, on Thursday.
They're being dropped off on the 9th?
On the 9th, yeah, on Thursday the 9th. So anybody who was here last year for drop-off will probably remember it was like a crazy well-oiled machine. We were done like super fast. The Pulse truck is incredible. They come in, they've got their numbers, we've got our numbers, and it just, so then the plants are all tucked away nicely against the walls, so the kids can come down the middle, and hopefully there isn't any particular chaos. And so we need as many hands as we can get for about an hour at 2 o'clock. And if we can use the 5th grade ambassadors helped me set up tables ahead of time. That was super helpful. So if the kids want to help out that way, honestly, if 5th grade ambassadors want to help with the unloading, that's super great too. I think that we had kids helping with the unloading last year and it worked well. So let's talk about what involvement the kids might want to have in that.
You have 3 of them right there that want to be.
Yeah, I did see some nodding.
We'd like to be involved in anything.
Awesome. So that could really help, but I think we will need some parents as well. And unfortunately, I discovered I'm not going to be here for that. So I will be. Sana's going to be here. Mandy's experienced. There are other folks who've been experienced. There will be it will be easy. It'll be super easy. Well, I'll leave it all ready to go. So 2 o'clock on Thursday for drop off. And then the big push for volunteers in need for help is pickup on Friday. That starts at 4 o'clock. There will be a lineup of parents before 4 o'clock, but for 4 o'clock. Basically we need volunteer pickers to pick the orders and bring them up to the families. And last year, I think we had around, I don't know, again, the more hands, the easier and smoother everything goes.
Are you going to do the volunteer sign up through something?
I did not manage the volunteer sign up last year, hence volunteer coordinator also being a very
How was it managed last year, the volunteer coordination?
Melissa, do you remember to help me? Somebody help me.
Did we just use the sign up genius site or something? Whatever we usually do. I feel like
Yeah, I think that's whatever is usually done. I don't remember. Somebody else managed that part.
Okay.
So I welcome assistance from anybody who is good at rounding up volunteers. But it's going to be great, and the picking is really fun. And I made a few changes this year that should make it easier. There's only one color of any kind of plant. And so there won't be confusion because the plants haven't all leafed out. And so you can't necessarily tell the difference between the pink impatiens and the white impatiens. And we end up with chaos on Saturday. So it should be should be an exciting time. Like I said, sale looks like it's gonna be good. Maybe people took the most number of plants and most number of sales incentives pretty seriously. I'm not sure. I have to see it. Those are fat envelopes. So, thank you to everybody who's already put in an order. Mine is yet to be created.
Just to give a sense, there were 10 people involved in the delivery unload last year.
Oh, good
plus
for
the
you having
students.
records.
So, and then,
That was a good number.
it was about, yeah, so if we can reach that number, I think then it'll be the same experience. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess, it was a sign of genius, it wasn't me who did the sign of genius. But I think we were about at a dozen people or so over the course of Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday was mostly cleanup, so that's a very light day. Friday's a big day.
Yeah, Saturday's a lot easier, because, you know, things can start to consolidate and we can even like pick orders and have them waiting for people once we start to have a little bit of space after the big push is coming out.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. So we'll set, go ahead.
I was gonna say, please let me know how many tables
Yes.
we need, so I can have Sudi order those.
Yep.
It's a work order.
Yep.
And then, I don't remember if it was PTO or Bancroft that needs to put in the permit for Saturday.
You did the permit.
Okay. And I don't know if I did that already, but I'll check.
Appreciate that.
In years past, my neighbor works at a nursery, and I checked with her, and she is gonna be donating plants again this year. And in the past, they just sold them for like 25 cents a plug.
We did not do any sales last year.
But I mean, okay, maybe it wasn't last year, but
Yeah.
when we've done plant sales in the past.
Okay.
So I asked her, you know, if we could get them by 3 o'clock on Thursday, if an hour before, the, you know, would be good. She usually brings them like the night before, so.
Is that something that you were prepared to leave during?
Yeah, I'll bring them to the school.
No, I mean the selling part.
Oh.
Well, I think the way it typically manages is when people do their pick, and it sounds like we're picking for them.
We're picking, like,
So
we're doing
upon,
just like last
so then it's gonna, it could literally be here is your stuff, would you like some extra? And then there's that exchange, or it could literally also be, and maybe it won't be a case this year, but when some people were shorted, it would
Yeah.
could fill the shorted.
That
issue.
all I'm saying is that didn't happen last year, and I am not prepared to be handling cash. So someone would need to
Well, who's on site that weekend?
be prepared for, even when I was on site last year.
Right. No, who's on site this weekend? Who's managing Friday day and Saturday day?
I'm guessing it'll be Mandy on Friday, but I need to talk with her.
All right, I think that's a conversation that can be had. It's whoever's site managing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the gesture, but I also recognize that, we're gonna probably handle $15,000 in plants, and so it's a small amount and potentially a lot of effort. So I don't know whether we're gonna be set up to have that additional, component of the sale.
I'm sorry, it's just, it's something that we've done several years before, so
Okay,
I just asked.
Like I said, I did this last year, and that is my only experience with it. And, so I'm happy to yield the seat to someone else who would like to do it differently next year, but this year, I don't think we're necessarily prepared for sales on the day of. Unless you'd like to take lead on doing that.
It could be possible, I just have to like, check in, because it's like a month away yet, so, you know, it's hard for me to plan that. Right?
Sure.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make anything difficult, I just assumed, you know, from past experience, then I spoke to him earlier this week, and so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to add two things. I mean, in a negative way.
I don't feel like we've added anything to the extent that I'm simply saying I appreciate that, and someone else will have to be responsible for the addition of sales to this year's event, as that is
So
not
just,
in my
let me,
budget.
I'm a little confused. So you have a neighbor that's donating plants? Yeah, for sale.
To be sold.
Totally. Okay, so we'll talk about that offline and see if we can figure out, make it happen.
That
We'll
sounds like
figure
a
it out, yeah.
great thing for kids to be involved in too, if there are students who'd like to be involved in selling on the day of.
Yeah.
Or like Girl Scout cookie.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, it'd be helpful if we could get a sense of scale of what we're talking about.
Like in the past, it was like, I don't know, like 5, 7 trays, like about that size.
So like one big table.
Yeah, yeah, or one and a little.
Cool.
Sounds good. Thank you. Diego.
You're sitting there cursing.
I'm not cursing anything. I love the mic sale.
You were very gracious and I
Principals updates, welcome everyone. Report cards, I think that's the biggest thing. First, I hope everyone had a wonderful spring break and had an opportunity to recharge, refresh, relax, all the rewords that I think we all need to take advantage of. It's tax day today too, so hopefully everyone has those submitted or has filed for an extension. I finished mine yesterday, so we're good. Yep.
All right, no need to brag.
Report cards, so with that, report cards did home last Thursday on April 11th, so if you did not get your child's report card, I know that I printed all of them and stuffed specifically 2nd and 3rd grade. So those should have gone home because I did them myself. But everyone should have report cards. If you don't, please let me know and let your child's teacher know. If you have any questions regarding the scores or comments, again, please reach out directly to your child's teacher with those questions. Springtime here in Minnesota also means MCA testing. So our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders have all started their MCA tests. Our 5th graders did their science. They're tested in reading, math, and science, only 5th grade is science. They did their science test before spring break, and then the 4th and 5th graders just finished up their reading test. I think they all finished today, almost, we're really close. And then the 3rd graders are beginning their math MCA tomorrow. So we're excited about that. And I always tell the kids, and just that's one measure of what we know at that moment in time. So there's lots of things that the kids do throughout the year and throughout, when they're in class. It also doesn't measure creativity. It doesn't necessarily measure musical ability and artistic ability. And so I think there's lots of other things that these tests don't measure, but it is an important thing of what we do each and every year. Not just at Bancroft, but every school in the state. Lots of things are happening in the spring. Lots of field trips are going on. 2nd grade is going to Mill City this week, I think on Thursday. We have High Five is going to, I think it's Richardson Nature Center or Dodge Nature Center upcoming. So we have lots of really fun things going on. I also want to let everybody know that we have a Phi Ed residency starting at the end of April. Mr. Maxwell has partnered with Inner City Tennis. So they will be providing tennis lessons to every single grade level, starting at the end of April through June 6th. And so PE is going to turn into tennis class. So it's going to be really awesome for the next few weeks. And so I'm excited about that.
Tennis.
Yep. Oh, tennis.
All right, know-it-all.
Would you like to do the updates? No.
Hand the computer over, I'll do it.
Let's see. So yeah, lots of fun things happening. Lots of trips outside of the school. We also have Interview and Select, which is our internal transfer process here in Minneapolis Public Schools. So from our last conversation at PTO and / site council, we do have a couple positions that are going to be posted. We did ultimately end up buying up the half class or the split class, and so we are going to be adding a 4th grade section. So our 3 3rd grades will go into 3 4th grades. So I'm posting a 4th grade position. And then we did make an internal move. Miss L, Rainey, in 5th grade, she also has an ESL license. And so she was really excited about the opportunity to be an EL teacher. And so we are internally transferring her to be our fourth, or actually our fifth EL teacher. We have 4.5. And then that means we'll have a 5th grade vacancy. And so that we'll have a 4th grade and a 5th grade vacancy for interview and select. So I'm hoping that we find some quality educators in that first round and we can call it a day with our interviewing. Currently, we do not have any ESP openings. And so I think their interview and select for ESPs or their transfer time is right at the beginning of May also. And so if anybody from our staff decides to pursue other opportunities or separates from the district and school, then we'll have openings, but currently we do not have any ESP openings.
What is ESP?
Educational support professionals, so AEs, SEAs, EPAs, series, is there anything else? I think I got them all. Yep. And then just like, like I said, spring is very busy. May, we have spring arts night. We have our 5th grade concert. We also have kindergarten and high five registration night, so welcoming our newest Bancroft Bulldogs. And then the plant sale and all the things that are happening. So there's lots of really fun things to wrap up the year. I counted the days, which I don't like to do, but we're down to 43 days left of school. Wow. So it doesn't seem like very many to try and get all of this stuff kind of shoved into it. And so we're going to try and make each day count and do 4 days worth of work each day. So that's what our plan is. That's what it feels like some days. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, there's just lots of stuff happening.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
I've got a follow-up. Since this is from an update from the last meeting, could you say, for the record, what we're accessing or how many staffers we're losing this year to the budget cuts?
Sure. I'm going to try and remember. So we did receive, it's about $1.4 million less. And so there were a number of positions that were reduced or excessed from our building. Excess is kind of the term that's used in Minneapolis. I mean, people weren't being slipped or fired or anything, they were excessed. And so many can hopefully find a position within the district. But we lost our 2 intervention teachers and the 4 intervention AEs that were attached to those 2 triads. Our world language position was cut. I reduced Sue, our IB coordinator's position, by 0.1. Miss Lindsay's position was cut. She was 0.5 building and 0.5 district. Her district position was cut. I didn't have enough funds to keep her the 0.5, so that position was accessed. Our band position was accessed. We had lost a high five classroom, so Miss Annie was accessed, and then Mandy's position was also accessed as the lead senior high five AE, and we lost 1 classroom AE. And then ultimately, I did end up talking with all of our ESPs, all the AEs, the SEAs weren't included, and every AE reduced their hours. And so we were able to, with that, we were able to add up enough hours to save another AE position. And so instead of cutting 2, I cut 1 and then reduced hours for everyone.
Thank you. And that was just for clarity, the IB coordinator position, that was the 0.1 cut. That was a savings in order to save something else, right?
That was included in the savings to keep an additional AE position. Because the IB coordinator is funded 0.6 from the district, and then the rest of it I buy up or purchase with my building funds. And so I actually didn't use any building funds and used some QComp money to fund her 0.9 instead of 1.0.
Yeah. And then one last follow-up, if I may.
Yep.
Just regarding IB and the loss of world language. I know we've had this discussion. I just want this to be a public discussion. As I understand it, because we re-upped our certification, I don't know if you've gotten your certificates back yet.
Nope.
But as I understand it, because we've gone through that process while having world language, our school will be able to keep its IB without penalty until the next time if we don't have world language come back within 5 years. Is
Correct.
that a correct statement? And the reason I bring it up for the rest of PTO, the context is other schools are asking, what is my school's IB going to be? What is my school's IB going to be? And it's not a district level thing. The district still funds IB as a program. That's why they're paying the 0.6 to us as a coordinator and to other schools. And the loss of world language to a school the impact is locally to the school at the point that they do their re-up, their recertification. And we're lucky enough to get past that before this cut.
Yeah, and I will say that we are also, there's 3 PYP schools, so Loring and Whittier, and each school obviously has their own local budget that they can work with and manipulate. We are not able to fund any portion of world language and trying to keep all of the other pieces that we have in place. I know that Whittier, they were able to fund their Spanish teacher. Loring, I think theirs is a 0.3 or a 0.4, and so theirs was very much reduced also, but they were able to keep a portion of it. So I'm working with Christine and Sue and Natalie Tortolette, who's the director at the central office level, to find out like what are some other ways that we can still provide some sort of world language, knowing that I have $0 to really play with. And so, but yes, I think we'll use this as a creative opportunity or a gap year, or I don't know what you want to call it, but.
Put some of those kids to work that are really good at Spanish.
Yep.
Right?
So we're gonna try and be creative about it, but it's hard when we have very minimal funding, and I think, many of you were there at that meeting, and this year we had about $65,000 for supplies, next year we have $22,000 for supplies, and so that's just like, there's some huge changes that we're gonna have to work through.
I wonder what a school level license of Duolingo.
It's free. Yeah, they have Duolingo.
Okay.
Anyways. Yeah, any other questions?
Sorry, it's on the same topic, but is the school board still has to finalize the budget, right? So is there a chance that can change?
Yep. Yep.
Albeit slim.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of pieces that are, could impact school budgets. I mean, we still have not settled contracts with ESPs and with MFT, with principals, there's a lot of bargaining units that have not settled contracts. I know the last time that there was a teacher strike and contracts were not settled, school budgets were reopened. And so I know that there's been talk of that potential. Depending on even if there isn't a strike, if there is, when the contracts are settled, what could happen, what extra dollars are going to be needed to fund those changes. And so, yeah, the school board, I think there's a meeting, I wrote it down not in this book.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. There's one tomorrow. I know there's one in May 18th, I want to say. I don't know if that's Tuesday. And then June 7th or 8th is the final vote on the budget. And so I think there's still lots of opportunities and potential to have school changes. I hope not, because I feel like we've already been impacted enough. But there's still that potential.
Yeah, and how would that work with like hiring people, if that was a possibility, because isn't that kind of time sensitive based on people's plans for when they're already gonna work and?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Isn't that, I thought we had an opening this year because the timing just didn't work. Hiring someone, there wasn't a person available.
Yeah, I think that happened when we got our staffing adjustments.
Yeah.
And then we were given that in January or February, and then we just couldn't find anybody to fill that. I think if they do reopen school budgets, I think everything is then back on the table, and it's like nothing ever happened. And so all the conversations that we had about accessing this position, accessing that position, and then start all completely over. And that's pretty much what happened 2 years ago now, when there was the strike, and then budgets were reopened. And I ended up, that's when Miss Anderson retired. And then Miss Hartman's position was cut. And because Miss Anderson retired, I was able to move Lisa into a classroom position. And then her position, which was out of the classroom, was completely cut after. Anyway, so yes, there were some changes then. But luckily we didn't lose more people because that retired. And now she's back, so that's good. Needed her teacher.
So you're saying no, you know, budget's not final, but because of the budget deficit, there's just no likelihood that there'll be any more money coming back to the schools. What you're saying is if there was a reopening of the budget, it'd probably be like a problematic thing, not an opportunity to save.
Yes, that would be my guess.
Yeah.
You know, I know that there's been still a lot of conversation at the board level around some of those pieces like band, like world language, like early childhood. I think there's still a lot of those conversations that are had. I know that the state also has a surplus of money. I know that there's some pieces about early childhood in some of the legislative bills, and so there could be money coming back to districts in the fall. That's what we were also told by from childhood, is that perhaps, I think they closed, is it 8 or 9 classrooms district-wide?
No.
Closed, high five.
Okay, yes, they've closed 8.
And so there might be the potential of reopening some, I don't know. And so I think there's just still lots of things that could happen between now and June and now and August.
Okay.
But I don't foresee it being necessarily in a super positive light. But that's my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. No more questions? I don't want to. Okay. Safe routes to school?
All right, I'm going to share my screen on this one. What am I sharing the screen on? Oh, I make this mistake every time.
It's on the,
It's on the Zoom, right?
yeah.
All right. All right, so safe routes to school. I'm just sharing some photos of what essentially is our first Minnesota Timberwolves game that we were able to take our safe routes to school patrol, our safety patrollers to. So we had about, well, here are the numbers, 21 patrollers, 49 participants. We still have 56 active patrollers out of the 60 from the original. So, you know, typically the program sort of tanks when you have a harsh winter, and we didn't. So people stuck around, which was kind of great. So this is how many participants we had. We paid out of the grant plus additional from parents who bought extra tickets. So of the money that was paid, of the monies that were paid, it's going to be a zero impact on PTO's budget because we're going to receive reimbursement from the state. And then for the extra tickets that were purchased, families kicked in on that discounted pricing that Timberwolves gave us. And so I owe checks to you, which I forgot to bring. It's actually sitting on the table, so I'll get them to you. Liz? The other, and just to actually, there's that. It was versus Toronto, if anybody knows, I'm from Toronto. It was a blowout, 135-82 in the Timberwolves' favor. That was my gift to our students to show them an exciting, high-scoring game with a tremendous win. And then actually, I included a bus photo. It was a neat experience to have to manage bus riders. It's been a long time since I've had to do that, and I did it once with the roller skating thing, but this one was cool. So it was good. It was a good event, and so I think it's replicable. We have funding for next year to do this again, and then Kate will speak to this. I know she's online, but this is a 2-year grant that we have. So one more cycle from now. That future PTO for any of the folks that are here with the young classes, if you want to pursue that, that funding is great. It's a lot of paperwork, and I want to call out Kate for all her skill and mastery of managing this paperwork. It's tremendous, but it's working out great. So that's there's that, and then moving on to another Safe Routes to School initiative that we have going on. It's the Bike Education Playdate. It was originally meant for the week of Earth Day, but our bike repair station it's not, did it arrive? I don't know. Okay, and so it probably hasn't arrived, and so it's probably not going to be installed in time for April 22. There is going to be a May 8 MPS Bike to School Day. I forgot to put the date there. May 8th is MPS's Bike to School Day. So instead of putting up competing events the week before, we just pushed it all the way out. So we're going to try to time our bike education play day for that day. What does that mean? A usual Bike to School Day, 8:15, we encourage families to go to Powderhorn. Everyone walks or bikes in. We will have a higher than usual amount of bikes on site. Mr. Maxwell in the morning is going to meet us and lead us in, and then at 1 o'clock, he'll take another contingent of students who want to bike to the nutrition center and back again for an event at the nutrition center. So that's from 1 o'clock, bike out, and then be back by 5.
It's only for 4th and 5th.
4th and 5th graders, thank you.
Yeah.
What's the nutrition?
You know, I don't know the location, but I know
It's on the north side.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a long bike ride, and then my understanding is that they're gonna bike to Theo Worth and then bike back.
Yeah. So those details.
So I think it's about a 16, 17 mile.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Like that.
Yeah. But what was the one to last fall? They biked to.
Went to Sullivan.
Sullivan, yeah. That's not that far.
That's not that far.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so the point I'm making is NPS has some programming, and so we're just going to piggyback on that programming. We'll have a higher than usual amount of bikers on campus at that point. So our event, as I've already mentioned, past 4 to 6 on the ish. We are going to be distributing our lawn signs. Here's the design, the final design that went out. We've got 200 units coming back. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 different students contributed to this. Design. So it's great. So I'm kind of hopeful that they see it and they're like, wait a minute, that's my bulldog, or that's my letter S, or some of it was, this was actually stop at red lights, so I converted that. This was slow down and I converted that. I think they did a self-portrait, so I hid that with the bulldog. But I thought that was a great bulldog that they did. So 200 of those units are coming back. Aaliyah is online. I want to thank Aaliyah for hooking us up with that vendor. It was a good price point for the number. And so we will be able to hand these out for free to our community who wants to sort of celebrate and it's really a traffic calming sign in our neighborhoods. That's the point. And on top of that, promote that we are the community school for this neighborhood. So reaching out to the folks at the Bancroft Neighborhood Association, reaching out to folks at Powderhorn Neighborhood Association to hand out at their events. We can have whatever we don't hand out, we'll also have them at our Family Fun Fest, and then any excess could carry over to open house. And so we'll see how many that'll pick up.
Are we allowed to put them on boulevards and strategic stop signs?
Well, you know, I can't speak to the boulevard traffic rules, but Cub Scout signs are places. So,
All right, I have
my Cub Scout sign.
stop sign in mind.
All right, there you go. But the intent is to sell.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, if you put it there, it'll be there for a while.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
They're not managing the boulevards. necessarily.
31st and 13th is a brutal four-way, but 31st and 13th. It's a bus stop, but it's a four-way and like people just drive like crazy on 31st and don't stop at that stop sign. So I'm gonna take a couple of them.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then added to the event, Angry Catfish is going to come out and do bike tune-ups for everybody. Part of our grant money is going to pay them to do that. So they will, people bring their bikes, we'll get them ready for spring. Some bike education tips. The Minneapolis Public Works has they have a Safe Routes to School division also. So they're going to bring somebody over, they're going to table and just give some information. And then I am going to request, I don't know if this is something that needs to be voted or not at this point, but I'm going to request $130 for snacks because we couldn't pay for snacks out of the grant budget. So I figured that's about double what we normally do for play date. But I'm guessing we're going to have more people than our usual play date. So there's that for the event side of it. Kate, I'm going to throw to you for the reporting side of it, and I'll stop my share. Are you still there, Kate? Oh, there you are. Unmute. Can you unmute?
She's on 2 computers.
Oh, are you on 2 machines? Am I a host? Let me see if I can. There you go.
Hi everybody. My name is Kate Elwell. My computer is dead, so now I'm on my phone. So I missed a lot of that. Sorry about that. We have, just to kind of do the back end things that VPAL was alluding to, All of our reports have been submitted to the state and accepted through March. And just a reminder, this is a reimbursement grant. So we are seeing a lot of movement and a lot of work by Liz from our checkbook, but that money will come back from the state, usually within 30 days. We filed and were successful in adjusting our grant. And that is because we have not yet been able to identify Somali language interpreters and document translators. We're going to continue working on that, but taking the funds from those services for this year to supplement some of this year's programming because costs have increased. Now I'm seeing myself over here, sorry. I'll just shut that computer. And like Vipal said, we have purchased the bike maintenance station. It has not shipped yet to my knowledge, Vipal. I was expecting that notice today, but it didn't come through. And those yard signs around our, I think that is all of the reporting that I have. Just wanted to say a really big thank you to Vipal, Liz, Sana, PA Bilingual, and then always Mr. DePaz and Miss Kennedy, because this has taken a lot of hands on deck and I really appreciate everybody coming together and actually turning the grant into things for our students while I stay behind the computer and do the paperwork. So thank you all so much.
All right, thank you, Kate. And yeah, that's the extent of our Safe Routes to School report. Are there any questions about it? Go for it.
Are you saying that the play date is on May 8th?
Yeah, the play date will be May 8th, 4 to 6.
Okay.
Yeah. And so rather than creating a play date on the week earlier or the same week to compete with, it's just gonna be one big event now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same day.
Yeah, it's the same day.
Oh, and I guess I should have, I don't think I explicitly said it. The whole point was to reveal the bike repair station.
Okay.
So it's gonna go into the ground and they're gonna be like, look, voila, you can pump air and there's a ratchet or whatever it is they put with bike things. You can tell I don't have the education for that. All right, any other questions?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Is Michelle, Aaliyah, do you want to talk about the t-shirt distribution or go ahead?
Sure, I absolutely can. So here, I mean, there's not much to say until we have the forms in. So I don't know if forgive me if I missed this, but the deadline was Friday. I saw an email go out from Mr. DePaz saying we can hold through Monday. I am happy to work with Mr. DePaz or the school on getting those forms, but basically what has to happen between now and then, and Vipal, you can jump in on this too. Someone needs to collect the forms from each classroom, create a spreadsheet with all of the sizing, and then get that order over to Overproof Printing. I am happy to do that. So if people can advise on that, maybe Mr. DePaz or Vipal could weigh in on that, and then we can get it locked in so that we can place the orders and get them over to Overproof. They need about a 2-week turnaround.
There's a giant pile of forms waiting for you in the main office.
Oh, fantastic. Can I pick them up tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought, so I'm doing the plant sale. We both will have to keep a lookout in our orders for people who crossed the funding, wrote checks for one, like a combined check for both events. So just for whomever, if it's you, Alia, doing the recording for the plant, for the t-shirt sale, just keep an eye to make sure that there isn't belongs to the plant sale. And I did write, there was one, and I annotated both of our forms, so it should be super clear, and I gave you the check.
Okay,
So.
actually, I totally lied because tomorrow is my one in office day, so I won't be at drop off or pickup, but I could either pick them up on Wednesday, or if they could go home with Robin or Liz, I can retrieve those from them.
Leah, you have capacity to manage the order process part of this, right? We just got to get forms to you. Is that a correct
I just
statement?
need to get the forms.
So I could do rounds like I did last year and get the forms into the office.
Oh, I think they're there.
I think
Is
the
every-
majority of the forms have made their way to the office. We could do like a last call tomorrow morning.
Love that. And then I could potentially pick them up on Wednesday. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep. I think the part that we missed out on though is by connecting with each teacher, we have a sense of the students who didn't submit, and then the teachers provided us guesstimate sizes.
I saw a list of that.
No.
In the file too.
Yeah.
So Paul, I guesstimated the sizes. So as long as I know what I just need to know is the number of students in each class. And I think you got that from me last year. And then I just I think I did a pretty good job.
You did. No, I'm not, I don't want to downplay that, but no, I did collect forms where teachers were filling out blank forms on behalf of the students. And so some of those forms we took in were like, Miss Abramson, and Miss Kennard, not Miss Kennard, who was the other fourth grade teacher last year? Third grade teacher, it was my son's third grade.
Like that
Yeah.
in the pile, so they
Yeah.
may have even picked
Yeah.
up on that.
We'll figure it out. Aaliyah. We'll get the forms to you, and then if you're gonna guesstimate sizes, then there we have it. And,
We'll need volunteers for distribution, whenever we get the t-shirts back, but we'll send out an email with like, Sign Up Genius or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but that's not gonna be 2 or 3
I
weeks.
can't remember how many volunteers we had yet last year, but I bet Paul does, and that worked out great. And then the other thing is that we need to sign out that space behind the gym, which is a really good spot. So here's what I think is that I get the forms from someone on Wednesday, maybe at pickup. Then I go through and tally everything. Once I have an estimated ship date from Overproof, then I work with Mr. DePaz and Sana to Mr. DePaz schedule the space in the gym, and then Sana get those volunteer shifts out, correct?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna stop by on Wednesday afternoon. I'm gonna grab those forms from the office and we'll hit go on everything else.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, treasurer's report, the deposit and withdrawal numbers are switched on the form.
I'm sorry.
So we've spent more money than we made.
Oh my God, that was my fault.
I'm like,
I'm a
oh,
transcriber.
we made a lot of money. So
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, field trips mostly spent money on buses to Starbase, and one check was to Minnesota Historical Society. And the PTO account is mainly safe routes to school fund, so that's gonna be reimbursable, because that's the bike maintenance thing.
Yeah.
So that's really going on. The total, including both accounts, is 70,000. Accounts and.
So just to clarify, the deposit amount for the field trip was 441?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to, okay.
Yeah, just flip
it. I'm just gonna fix it, okay. All right.
I just a quick follow-up.
Yeah.
Has this 6,000 that was allocated for field trip as a buffer, did that get moved yet, or that's not yet accounted for in field
That's
trip?
moved.
It's moved,
And
okay.
it was 9,000.
9,000, okay, great.
So
Yeah,
that's
I just wasn't
moved
sure.
to field trip,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sort of evened out.
Yeah, perfect.
That's why it's looking a little rosier than I was expecting it.
Yeah. Thank you, Liz. Any questions? Okay. Upcoming events, Staff Appreciation Week?
Yeah, I will take this one. Staff Appreciation Week is May 6th through the 10th. Last year, I believe we sent out a template to all kiddos in their backpack that they could write a note to their teacher of their choosing, just to say thank you as an option. I think we also provided something else to teachers, but I'm not fully remembering what. But I'm proposing that this year we provide them something more. And in the past, when we've done meals at conferences, that's gone over really well. So I'm open to thoughts right now of brainstorm ideas of what you think the PTO could provide for staff, or if we should just do a lunch or a breakfast as we have in the past and kind of copy and paste that. Open to what you think.
Do we have the same limitations as individual parents of like $5 for like an actual physical gift to the teachers?
You mean like
as in, does the PTO, what sort of scope of
value? Oh,
Yeah, value.
well, for for meals, I mean, spending
meals,
more than $5 on that.
Yeah, no, you had asked about giving something else.
Last year, we gave a goodie bag There were snacks in the goodie bag, and then there was a token gift provided by the fifth grade ambassadors or
That's right.
actionable by them. I think they led it, but we funded it. And that one was kept at that, negligible, nominal, the nominal amount, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but, and so we could certainly do that again. It's just a matter of connecting with fifth grade ambassadors this year if they want to participate. I think we'll just Sue. Everything else was just like a little snack item, a little treat item to get them through the day type thing.
Okay, was the nominal $5 per kid or what was the nominal?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of movement in this discussion. I know Diego. No, but it's theoretically it's per teacher, right? I mean, depending on how you apply the rule. So that we manage for that bag thing, we kept the bag thing specifically under 5. But we don't stick to that when it comes to meals. And we have certainly deviated from that amount for other reasons that PTO saw fit. So
It's $5 per teacher or per kid for teacher? Like, what's the rule? I'm confused.
Teacher.
$5 per
It's
teacher?
per child, it's per child per teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like as in, I can only give Magden's teacher a $5 gift.
yeah, but the way it goes for parent groups, this is why if we're going to get into the weeds about the details, parent groups can give to any teacher up to $5 per student. So then cumulatively, that's 5 times 490, theoretically speaking.
Oh,
That's-
it's not per their classroom.
That was, well, so parents, you couldn't give to a past teacher, there's some rules there. But the way PTO, the way it reads in policy is PTO, parent groups specifically have the $5 per, the limit is $5 per enrolled student.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so for context, that is how PTO was able to manage to assist our teachers during the strike. And to be clear, we were neutral in terms of the strike, but we wanted to make sure our teachers were taken care of. And so we did some things and took some costs to make sure that they had what they needed. So.
Okay, so you want some ideas?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like, should we do lunch or breakfast? And then can we have the money to do that? And I don't think we had that factored into the budget at the beginning of the school year. I think we only planned for the meals at conferences. I don't think we did a meal plan for
I think I
this.
might have bumped your number a little bit, but we should.
Yeah, but like up for discussion if
Yeah.
that's what people are interested in supporting.
I'm in favor, I mean, I don't know, there's no teacher in the room, right? At breakfast, but I'm a breakfast person. Huh? Teachers love food, yeah. Yeah, and I like the idea of a good bag.
Anytime to
pick it up.
Yeah, what's a good? Yeah, or also I know too, like, maybe that's where the 5th grade ambassadors could help distribute. Cause I know sometimes when we bring in the lunch, that is kind of like a hard thing for teachers to leave their room to come get it.
Yeah.
So maybe,
Yeah.
maybe there's a delivery.
Yeah, no, that's what they did last year also. Yeah, they pushed a cart around. Yep.
Oh, neat.
Yep.
Okay, so it sounds like we're in favor of providing food.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can say that.
I will make that happen.
Okay.
Done.
Or, how about the plant donation? We could give that to teachers. It's just a,
Yeah, I think in
Something
the
to think
past,
about.
anything they didn't sell, they would distribute.
yeah.
We do have an outlet too, related to that. What doesn't get sold can go, I always forget her name, but the teacher that handles our garden, and does the garden project. I know she's clearing up. Yes, Miss Preston. So we've supported her for the last couple of years on that, and we can do that again this year.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Do you mind? Okay, all right. So we already talked about back to school, talked about plant distribution, PTO elections. You want to say anything about spring art night? Diego?
It's happening.
I would like to have food there. I'm gonna try not to, cook 500 taquitos like I did last time. That lasted but people weren't interested in the food, so I thought it was.
They were really good.
Yeah. They're Costco's taquitos, okay? Costco's taquitos.
No secret.
Except my toaster oven is like this little, so it took like 3 hours.
Maybe we could set up like a row of air fryers. That's what we make ours in at our house.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. People
You blow some fuses.
But I don't think that.
So I mean, that, in my world, that's like years away. But it's spring arts night, so the details are still kind of sketchy. I know that fifth grade is performing.
Okay.
So their final like big ensemble performance, we have the day before or 2 days before, there is an assembly, a school-wide assembly to have them rehearse, practice, correct? Emily?
Yeah, we might change that.
Okay, great.
Maybe Dad.
Yeah, so I know that the fifth grade band is playing, and then whoever did not perform, grades 3 through 5 will perform then at the spring arts night.
Okay. Okay.
And if you wanna talk to me about providing food, yeah, we can talk about that.
We'll talk, yeah,
Figure out what that looks like, but.
that would be good. Okay. All right, and then I'm just gonna, because the Family Fun Fest is basically next year. No, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
so far away. But I
Well,
will.
like I said, there's only 43 days left of school, and so we're trying to.
Yes, we're trying to put everything in,
Yeah.
and I mean, I just want to plant a seed. I would like this to be a little bit more of a fundraiser than it was in previous years, and that's all I'm gonna say. We'll leave that to right now it's very, very much like just a, community event. I came last year before I was in the school, and I spent $100 on food. So, which I think is fine for the truck, whatever, but like, I would like to have play things that kids have tickets and stuff, but it will require volunteers. So
Yeah.
but we'll talk about that not today because I do want to get to new business.
Okay. Are we there? Or
We
new
are there.
business?
The field day, we're gonna skip. I just put the date there, but yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, I gotta bring it back. So I'm gonna start the share. I'm gonna do a
Field
screen
day will
share.
happen at Powdermore Academy.
Okay,
So
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
a great place for us, and
Okay.
it's big, and rain day is that next Monday, the 10th.
Okay.
There's rain on Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And the date on the bottom of the agenda for our next meeting is not May 16th.
Oh, gosh, when is it?
Well, that's spring arts night, so.
It's wrong, it's the wrong night. What day?
It's the 13th.
Okay, 13th, sorry.
Just while
Spring
he's.
Arts Night.
Spring arts night is May 16th. Our next PTO meeting is May 13th.
It's the correct date is on the list, on the event, but not down there. Sorry about that.
No, just all good.
Okay, so for new business, what I'm bringing to PTO is a proposal to save fifth grade band for 2024-25, and I wanted to sort of set the stage a little bit. And for people that are hockey fans, I'm pretty sure this is a Wayne Gretzky quote most recently, but I put it on a basketball court because that's just what I understand. So you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I just sort of wanted to set the stage for one of the reasons for making this effort. And if I were to place this effort, we are probably somewhere between midcourt and the 3-point line in terms of making this work. So it's doable, but it will be challenging. The other thing to sort of bring back is without music, life would be blank. And
I love that.
I just sort of wanted to also set the stage with that in terms of just, the emotions and things welling up behind everyone's tear ducts. Okay, so having said that, we know this part. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but Minneapolis budgets have put a tremendous number of cuts that our students are going to experience next year for sure, and potentially down the road, depending on which items we're talking about. So we know that there's a list. Middle school and high school is affected slightly differently, but I'm sort of focused more on elementary school and our school. And what I am wanting to talk about is in the vein of you miss 100% of every shot you don't take, of all the things that were being cut, band is something that's in our reach to make a positive impact on, perhaps change in some way so that it's not lost to our school. One of the reasons I'm able to say that, you'll note I have a fixed time frame. It's providing fifth grade band for 1 year. We're anticipating the band will return to the budget as an item the following school year, 2025-26. The reason we can say that is several reps have already gone on record saying they didn't tackle the excess building issue. They tackled because they didn't tackle on top of this budgetary shortfall they have. So they focus on the shortfall, and they're going to then direct attention towards the notion of excess buildings and what savings they can make there. So that is part of the equation. And then the other part of the equation is they actually on March 26th gave a presentation that said fifth grade band or band. I don't think they call it fifth grade band specifically, but band is going to become a priority item in the 25-26 budget cycle. So those are the two things that let me think that a 1 year kind of effort is feasible. The other thing is a band instructor is shared by multiple schools. And I mean, yes, 15 band instructors, and Miss Emily Cox is with us here today. She's our band instructor and she teaches at Northrop and Wyndham. And there are 15 throughout the district of 40 something schools, 42, 40 on the nose, right? So 15 teachers and 40. I'm pointing that out in part because it makes it pseudo affordable for a school to contribute to a way to saving band because they're going to share this effort with other schools. We would be sharing this effort with 2 other schools, Northrop and Wyndham, for example. So world language, someone might say to me, well, why aren't you looking at saving world language in a Spanish teacher? And the main challenge there is, well, that's a full-time position. And so that makes it for a single school to carry in terms of the cost of it. And so not, everything else held equal, carrying a full-time position that's a huge effort for a volunteer, a nonprofit organization. So that's a little bit out of our reach. That would be like from the other side, from the other court entirely. But a band instructor, because it's shared, if we share the burden, the fundraising burden with other schools, then we could make that happen for somebody. This is not an original idea, the idea of saving 5th grade band. I'm sure you've seen, there's a big movement, there's a petition. It's made it to Channel 5 News, it's made it to a couple other outlets about trying to find a way to save band. And what they're talking about is saving the instrumental music for all programs, so the district-wide. And that's a commendable effort, and maybe when the budget gets reopened, right? What are the chances that all this noise is being made leads to something positive for band? We don't know. But I do want to say that it's not an original idea for a local school to try to save its own band. Some schools, in the way that Mr. Diego has talked about how principals have talked about priorities, some schools have cut their band, but then gave their music education by 0.1, with the notion that that music education might take some of that instrumental instruction on, and then the PTO is looking at finding a way to send their kids to a private music studio for ensemble work. Right, so they're getting some instrumentation done at school, and then maybe after school they're going to go to a studio. There's another school that's actually thinking more of actually making it an after-school program. The challenge, of course, I mean, those are all great that they're finding ways. Other schools are finding ways to make this happen. After-school programs, though, you don't get 100% participation. So what we're trying for here is preserving the program that we have in place. That Miss Emily comes here, teaches, pulls flutes out, they have their practice time, clarinets, they have their practice time, saxophones. And it's during school, so you get 100% participation in that effort. And then this is a sort of teasing something here. Unique set of circumstances that puts band within our reach. And we're going to go there now. The proposal I have is PTOs at Bancroft, Northrop, and Wyndham will share a band teacher who provides 1 2/3 to 2 days of instruction at each school each week during the school day. So that's the gist of it, which is pretty much close to what's happening now. Is that right, Ms. Emily? I know I was talking about it as a 1.5 because I could do that kind of math way easier than 1 2/3. But I think the reality is sometimes you spend more time at one school or another school depending on the needs. And to have that kind of flexibility is there. There's also been some discussion that having a little bit more face time would be beneficial for the number of students that we have at each school. The other thing then is each PTO is responsible for 1/3 of the cost to pay the band teacher as an artist in residence, similar to what we already do with other arts providers. So there's the key. The key to this idea is that PTO funds an artist in residence, an independent contractor, to teach band at our school. Norfolk would do the same. Wyndham would do the same. It happens to be the same artist in residence. We're all getting the same programming. And this, I know this has been a note in other discussions. I've been talking to a lot of people about this, and there is policy about, well, PTOs can't pay for an MPS position. So I will come out and say, what we're doing here is not creating an MPS position. This is an independent 1099 contract position. And so then that takes it outside of the policy that sort of is applicable. And that gets us to, let's see, is that this slide? No, not yet. Okay, well, I was wondering about the order of this. So how much is this going to cost? You notice I said 1/3 per school. I've been using the in meeting and talking with people, I've been using the teacher average pay of $78,000. That's the base pay average, plus benefits. Well, because this is 1099, the benefits go away. And we're looking at 78, and then there'll be 78 divided by 3. Now, I'm just a 4th grade dad who hangs out and talks too much. So I can't say that I know what pay is. But I do want to point this out because this is kind of key. It's a Venn diagram between what it's the principals are still going to have the expertise to sort of talk about this with the instructor. What is appropriate for the workload and experience? What is acceptable to the instructor giving life needs, right? I mean, what would you do work for is basically what that is. And then what can we afford? Or what can PTOs fundraise? And so that central point is the sweet spot that each school would contribute to. And then pointing out as well that it's 1099, it's independent contractor work, but the principals are still the supervising managers of this position. So a lot of that's still gonna be the same, and the expectations and behaviors and the standards that are gonna be met are still gonna be the same, the high quality that we get when it comes to band instruction. So we're not reinventing anything other than taking a position, putting it in a place that we can fund it. All right. So, the unique set of circumstances that make this work, right? The idea behind it, one of the reasons this can work, and Miss Emily is here now. I invited her here because, I mean, I felt like it's important that we put a face to the name when we met her, but I also understand the awkwardness of talking about this. So I want to sort of, I do want to sort of point it out. And that's the other reason why in the slides I've been saying band teacher. I know as it gets archived, I didn't necessarily want that to be the name being archived, though if you listen to the audio, you'll figure it out. Anyway, the point is, what did I say? We already do artists in residence here. This is nothing new for us. We do a 10-week one with CAS, right? Yep. We do like a 3-week one with the Swedish Institute, and we do a bunch. So the process for that to happen with PTO, spending the money either through the school or directly to the artist, no big deal there. In terms of, well, Paul, you're taking a position, a good union position, and you've just 1099, right? And which is, I know from another perspective, is not a good idea, right? What would it have been if we were talking about somebody with 10 years seniority in the system? If they were to leave that position to take this position, and then they come back again, let's say something opens up, budgets open up and band comes back, well, they've lost all that seniority, right, in leaving the district. As it so happens, Miss Emily has been very kind to me in a lot of these discussions. And as I understand it, she is new to the district, so her seniority is low. She has no tenure. So to leave and come back is not going to make any difference in terms of what happens to, in the 25-26 school year. Very negligible difference. In terms of the lack of benefits, she is in a place where her family has other options for benefits. So it doesn't have to be that the benefits comes from this position. The main consideration is that we are able to provide full-time work at a rate that makes the cost-benefit analysis to childcare and just all the other living needs that makes sense to Ms. Emily and to the school. So that's the main consideration there, the base pay. Sorry, what was that? Oh, okay. Sorry, that threw me off my loop. What did I miss? So those are the things that make this work for us, to take a position, make it an independent contract position, share it with 3 schools so that we all can share in the fundraising effort, and then we have band for a year. Then the idea being that perhaps, fingers crossed, that next budgetary cycle, we can advocate strongly to put band back. What else do you need to know? The principals of all the 3 schools support this in favor. And don't, absolutely correct me if I'm putting words in your mouth, but as I understand it from Mr. Paz's and my discussions, we are in a good place, and you've sent this up the chain to your associate superintendent. And I'm going to absolutely open the floor for you to make comment on that. But I'm going to say Northrop has said to me that they support it, they will do it. Northrop PTO said they will support it and they will do it. Wyndham principal has said he supports it and is waiting for the go-ahead from his associate superintendent, his boss. Wyndham PTO, because I don't have the go yet from Wyndham principal, the 100% go. I don't have 100% go yet from Wyndham. But that's something, that's just the next step. One second, I'm gonna let Mr. DePaz, because I just put words in your mouth, just to make sure I'm characterizing what, you correctly.
Yes, I'm supportive of the effort. I have spoken with Rochelle Cox, who's my associate superintendent, and she currently does not see any red flags as to having this position be an artist in residence. And I like what it says, they have not yet said no, but they also have not yet said yes.
Yes.
So I think that's the other piece too, and so I just think there's
I'm a glass half full.
That's fine. So yeah, and like I've told you, like I'm not gonna, I think advocating for what you believe our school needs and your child needs, I'm not gonna stand in the way of that. And if we get approval, or I think it's, yeah, that's why I'm supportive in favor.
So thank you.
And that's different from funding a position, which I'm not in favor of.
Yeah.
That is actually part of MFT and then is found by all the same. This is arts in residence. Like you said, we have many throughout the entire year. We just had taiko drumming with third grade. That was a 2-week residency. We're having one right now with second grade and ASI. And so, yeah, they happen all the time. And I don't have to get approval or from associate superintendents whenever we do those things.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that. And Melissa, you had a question now.
Oh, I was just wondering, I just wanted to confirm that there is a PTO at Wyndham, because not every school has a PTO.
There is, yeah, there is.
They were in my classroom today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then I was, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And just for the recording purposes, both Northrop and Maycroft have the same associate superintendent. Wyndham has a different associate superintendent.
Okay. And so in regards to that, there were meetings last week. There was I think I put an email about it on Tuesday, and then there was another meeting on Friday. So we're all just waiting to see what happened at those 2 meetings. Liz?
So would this be something that the PTO would pay the band teacher? And I'm just wondering, or would we pay the school? I'm just thinking ahead to the 1099. Like,
absolutely.
Whose job would it be to?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think logistics is something that we're going to have to still also figure out. I tried to connect with that person who helped us with our accounts. It was a parent that had some tax account experience, and we could. I think once if we go forward with this, and we will confirm with someone what the step would be for a PTO, which is a nonprofit, which is what we are. We are an actual nonprofit to issue 1099s in this regard, because we're or if it's going to be.
How has in the past the artist in residency worked out? Don't normally you, like the stuff that we have supported?
Yep.
Yeah.
Normally the school pays it?
The difference, the difference here is that those are Pillsbury House, Pillsbury Theater, American Swedish Institute. So the checks are going to institutions, not to what's essentially an individual being an LLC or however that works out. So that is a logistic we'll have to figure out.
I just want to.
Yep. I got it. So this is what I'm putting for vote. Bancroft PTO agrees to provide funds for a 5th grade band teacher to teach daytime pull-out musical instrument classes, as well as ensemble and large band classes, in partnership with 2 other schools for the 2024-25 school year. And so I'm looking for that vote of approval. Yep.
How much money are we talking here?
Yep. So that, absolutely. So that's the high end number that I've been using. Well, the number I've been using is 70 divided by 3, so it's 26,000. The way that we go about doing this, I took it out of this vote. That could be a vote for a deeper discussion. I think what I'm looking for is approval to move down this road and find that pathway, in part because we want to make it in time for the interview and select process, so that Emily knows that there is a position that could be held for her, and she doesn't have to seek out employment or accept employment from another party. But the discussion, what I'm bringing to the table is, let's pretend it's $28,000 at each school's shoulders. I would propose, or I've discussed it as, PTO commits half of that out of its bank account, so that we have the September, October, November paychecks are ready to go, and then fundraise specifically for the back end, so that we're not nailing the bank account so hard that PTO can't do its other activities. But we do beef up our fundraising, maybe to like one a month, for example, or depending on the extent of the size of what's brought in, to cover the back end. And then if we miss milestones, if we miss our goals in the back end, then that difference gets covered out of the account at the end of the year. So we're providing our own insurance and making sure we can pay as a position. We're just buying ourselves time to raise money for it. And
So
absolutely.
effectively, you're asking, for a vote to commit $28,000 to this position. I'd like to make a motion to table voting on this until, I don't know, it's not 7:01 on, like, people have already left and we haven't, and I feel like more questions probably need to be asked and things need to be thought about. But I'm making that motion to table the idea of voting. That would need to be seconded as well because somebody has to second voting.
When the interview and select starts when?
April 30th, May 1st, and May 2nd.
So
The
we have to
interview
do
dates,
this
positions
like
are
special
posted the
meeting
week
review.
before that.
So I'm just to say, if we are gonna have a vote down the line, we have to do either a special meeting or like the email.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the sort of thing that might even be worth having a special vote. That's a really, really big commitment for the random selection of people who happen to show up today. And, I often worry about some of the ways we do things that don't necessarily allow folks who can't come to the meetings, but maybe listen to the recordings and stuff to have a voice in making big decisions.
I also am I'm supportive, and I also want to be conscious of whoever's going to be leading the PTO next year, committing us, this board committing to that money for next year. You know what I mean? So that's my hesitation, to commit that, for this board to commit to that. Next month, we're doing elections. And so I understand the timing.
Is there a second to that? We could debate the motion. I think we've already started debating the motion. I think we understand that there are timing issues at play.
Yeah.
We certainly can make an adjustment to the vote, but I would say we don't table. And what we, as a group who came here today, we discuss and either approve or disapprove, putting an intent to build this plan together. And we still, the final amount is not the 28. We don't know what the final amount is, and we need to figure out what that is going to be, but we can't get there until we know that our PTO is going to support this. In my chats, go ahead.
Well, so would we then need to have another vote to approve a certain amount of money?
We certainly could. I think we certainly could if we, once we get to the point that, as a next step, the associate troops say, go. I don't know if that's the way it would work, but they say go, so then Northrop goes, Bancroft goes, Wyndham goes, comes to a discussion, because I understand the big pivot here is the number. It comes to a decision on the number, and then it goes back to the PTO to say, okay, are you going to commit? Are you going to commit to that, and how are you going to do that? And that is absolutely, you're right, that's a future seeing thing. We have parents in this group right now with younger kids. You will be the ones shouldering that. I know I'm here still one more year. But we can't go there until we know that we're going there. Northrop is going there, or they've gone.
Well, except that if then you make the commitment to go there and then the future PTO votes it down, then you've made a commitment.
Well, no, but absolutely, it still goes back to that. That still is the thing that needs to be decided, right? What's appropriate, what's acceptable, what can we afford? And so us today saying, yes, we want to pursue this and we want to see if we can make this happen. And maybe more people at this point, I know Melissa and there's Nikki have responded to emails about this. We could bring in more people at this point if we as a PTO are saying, this is the direction we're going, who wants to come with us, who can help us out.
With such a, big commitment and big amount of money, I would maybe think of not waiting until next year to start fundraising.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like even it doesn't have to be a fundraiser that has to be planned, or maybe just soliciting donations for the band. But I don't know if you'd want to put it off you know, like we paid for one quarter, and you don't want everything to fall apart. So I would start
Yeah.
this year, even in the, I don't know what summer is like, but it seems like the fundraising would have to go.
It would, yes. I mean, we are going from a PTO that only does 2 fundraisers to a PTO that's going to do however many this might be. And one of the ideas is those date night ideas, which we don't pursue, but Northrop does this and the other schools do this. 10%, 50%, 20% of the check comes back to that school if you promote that, if people go there and say, I'm with Bancroft, right? I did reach out to AMC Theaters about the idea of what about we do a movie screening of Mr. Holland's Opus, right? And that is a fundraiser, or Parkway Theater, doing it there, that is a fundraiser. That's a little low end in effort. I mean, it's kind of middle effort, I guess, because we have to sell the tickets, but we don't, we're not actually working the event. And then there are the actual, like, whatever we're doing, whatever.
So it sounds like you've thought about it, but I feel like an appropriate component of this would be a fundraising plan.
Yeah.
Should be part.
Well, I think though, before we can get to a fundraising plan, I think we have to know that that this is an effort. And let's point this
But
out.
I feel like the vote is making a financial
Well,
commitment.
we can change that. That's why there's
Do you
no
wanna-
amount there. So
Yeah.
we can change that. That's not a big
Okay,
deal. But
so-
let me also point this out. When this topic came up, the email that was put out from this PTO was that we're not going to, as a PTO, take a stand on any of these issues. We're going to support our parents on the efforts that they want to do. And so the parents bring to PTO what that is. So then the question becomes, okay, so here is something being brought to the table. Is this something that PTO would want to pursue or not pursue? And then the PTO is going to pursue it at that point as a facilitating, that was my word, as a facilitating organization, then we bring in more people to be like, well, how do we make this work for real? Paul, that movie idea is done. Here's a different idea. Here's a funding raising plan. This is my expertise in tax accounting. All of that sort of comes together. But we can't put that together without saying we're walking in this direction. And so I'm asking us to say we're walking in this direction.
Okay, can you maybe revise then your motion? Because the motion that was up on the board was a vote to do it.
Yeah, so let's make it a simple motion of, the vote would be what? That PTO approves.
Makes a good faith effort to explore this shared commitment with these other 2 schools to fund a 5th grade band teacher.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Second.
Did anybody catch what I actually said?
Did
I was like,
Can you write it down? Please say it again.
PTO will make a good faith effort to join with these other 2 schools to fund a 5th grade band teacher.
Could I amend that to say it would be with 2 other schools instead of these other 2 schools? The only reason why is
Okay.
if, let's pretend Wyndham decides we don't want to do it, I've got 2 other schools in line.
Okay, great.
Reach out to them.
I was gonna ask that, is there only enough time for 3 schools?
Yeah.
I know, I'm sorry.
I would say that the schools that I have right now, about the job. Ideally, I was pushing for getting at least 2 full days here at Bancroft in the future, and right now it's a day and a half. So, but, I mean, it also could mean that things look different if there is like a higher student load. And that.
Which could also shift Bancroft's load because 2 times 3 is 6, not something manageable by a single human being if it's already not manageable, right?
Correct. But there's also the possibility of 2 times 2.
Sure.
So.
Right, so
I am
the actual commitment could be there's lots of different permutations for this. So we're going to make a good faith effort toward making this happen in a way that makes sense. And I would amend to that in order to vote on whether to do it. The next thing would need to be an actual proposal of the real amount of money and a fundraising, but
I
planning to
would
make up
not
those
support
funds.
that amendment to this motion.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I
so
don't
maybe
think.
Vote on the intent first.
Yeah, I think the intent is there, and then for another group, when the group is out at 7:10 to discuss the logistics and operationalizing the event. But if we can get an intent to move forward, that's enough for us to move forward.
All right.
I'm not running away, I gotta go put my 1-year-old to bed.
Yeah.
But I appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
And I would be
All right, so I
willing
think we had a second, all in favor of a good faith attempt to save band? Aye.
Online?
There's, I don't think anybody's left online.
All right. Oh, we got a thumbs up from Aaliyah.
Oh, Aaliyah, okay, yeah.
Can I just ask to write to your legislators at the state and the school board?
Yeah.
Because I actually got a phone call in return to an email about this topic. So that the state legislators have been getting lots of contact about concerns about this and are just trying to figure out how to appease their voters. So please contact your state legislators.
Was there any opposed?
I'm sorry.
Any abstain? All right, the
All
motion
right.
carries.
Thank you. My last little bit is there's a rally tomorrow involving music educators at the Davis Center, I believe. And I will be speaking to the school board in their meeting tomorrow. There's a school board meeting tomorrow. Oh, what's this ad in here? So if people are interested, that's the rally information. Go for it.
So next step, are we going to try to set up a dedicated time to discuss this in more depth between now and when?
Yeah,
teachers are-
I think next step is just to get the absolute green light from the district that they're not going to stand on this. That's that. And then at that point, discussions with the principals about, primarily about what would this mean in real money? And we would then gather and say, okay, we know the cost, we have the permission, what do we choose to do?
Well, I guess to follow on that, it would seem like a pretty good opportunity as we are seeking new officers and trying to come up with plans. I think there's, usually when we're doing fundraising stuff, it's kind of more general, but this is gonna very specifically be impacting fifth graders next year. Not that we all can't contribute, but if you're trying to get people on board to help implement a fundraising plan, the families of the kids who are actually in band would be the best people to kind of advocate for this. So if there's a way to maybe get more of them in the room to talk about this, and then we're kind of building kind of critical mass for when we actually go out and start doing stuff.
That's exactly right. And I think that PTO has approved this, frankly, it opens to me PTO's email list, because I have not had that this whole time. I built this on my email list and using old email lists. So I'm pretty sure I've got some sixth grade families wondering, what's this guy doing? Emailing me. So I think, yes, now that we've got PTO behind this, then that opens up PTO resources, particularly in terms of communication, particularly in terms of target audience.
It sounds like we need a new committee or even like a.
Yeah.
Maybe
Is everybody here, would you like to jump on the committee? Would you like to jump in the committee? But no, I mean, I think that's the next thing. The next thing, approval, figure out numbers, and let's mobilize people to sort of bring their voices to this, including the families that are going to be impacted directly and the families that are rising, the third who are becoming fourth, they're impacted by this. Because frankly, if we don't succeed here, right, what does that mean to, right? I mean, I know there's no actual domino effect, but it is. It's, if you lose a thing for a year, another year goes by and you don't have it, then culturally it's just not part of the fabric of that school anymore, right? And because that's how fast the fabric of our school changes. With every new year is 100-something new kids, 100, and whatever that means in terms of families. And of course, it's always good to have change, but if this is something we want to preserve, gap years don't help. But anyway, I appreciate the time and attention. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next month. Liz.
Yes, I can bring it out.
So I think, Liz, I'll make arrangements to maybe even bring the computer with the order over to your house on Thursday to enter the bank information, or would you like to just do it over the phone like we did last time?
I thought you meant